Every week someone asks me, Ken, what's your favorite ETF? But that's a little like asking a football coach who their favorite player is. The quarterback isn't trying to be a kicker. The offensive line isn't trying to catch passes. Every player has a different responsibility, but they're all working toward the same goal. That's exactly how I built my retirement portfolio. I don't buy ETFs. I hire them. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the team that's working every day toward my future retirement. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Simply Money. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you've seen a lot of these ETFs, SCHD, CHPY, QQQI, and SPYI. But today isn't about explaining what each ETF invests in, it's about explaining why it has a place on my team. Every ETF in my portfolio has one primary responsibility. Some are responsible for building wealth. Some are responsible for building my future income. Others are already practicing to replace my paycheck. Once you stop asking, which ETF is the best, and start asking, what job do I need filled, investing becomes much more intentional. So welcome to my retirement team. What I'm going to do today, if you're new here, I've spent a lot of time on the channel talking about the income portion of my portfolio. Focus on individual ETFs, what kind of returns they have, is it better to drip or take the cash? A lot of focus has been on one part of my team, and I wanted to take this video to expose you to my full team because I think some people have a misunderstanding that it's all about income. At least not in my opinion. If you're a fully income-focused investor, that's your opinion. That's your personal preference. I always say personal finances are personal. So remember that. And remember that all investing comes with a risk. So this is not financial advice. This is for informational and educational purposes only, and I wanted to introduce you to my retirement team. So up first, we have team number one, the foundation team. And it has a mission, just like any company. Each team also has a mission. And the mission of the foundation team is to build long-term wealth, create stability, and provide the base everything else is built upon. And I've tried to keep this team to about 30 or 40% allocation. Just like in a business, you can't get too heavy in one section. One team can't be too heavy, or you get lopsided. So I try to keep that to 30 or 40%. The players on this team are FXAIX. If you've watched the channel, you may have heard it here and there. Again, I don't talk about my growth portion very often, but FXAIX is one of my foundational funds because it tracks the S&P 500 and steadily build wealth over decades. The strength of FXAIX is its broad diversification and long-term growth, but you do need to watch for a lower current income. That's not its job. Player number two in this team is SCHG. It has a specific job to accelerate long-term capital appreciation. The strength SCHG brings to my team is a large cap growth companies. It just puts that emphasis there. But you do need to watch for it being more volatile than the broad market funds. Now, every great team building starts with a strong foundation, and this is where mine starts. So that leads us to team number two, the future team. Now, this team's mission is to invest in tomorrow's innovations, capture transformational growth. This team gets a target allocation about 5 to 10%. And I don't have a rigid percentage. I don't say 10%. I give it a range because sometimes a team might get a little heavier in certain markets. I look for opportunities that team can take advantage. Just like in a game of football, sometimes the offense gets more allocation of time because the defense is doing such a fantastic job. It just depends on the situation and the time of the game. The players on this team, we have SOXX. This job is to provide exposure to the semiconductor companies powering AI, cloud computing, robotics, and future technology. The strength it brings to the team is industry leadership, but you need to watch out for the higher sector concentration. That also brings us to player number two, WQTM, a new addition to my team. It has a specific job. Give the portfolio exposure to quantum computing. The strength this player brings to the team is potential for outsized long-term growth, but watch out for high volatility and uncertainty. You notice this is like a scouting report. You look at the player's strengths, you look at their weaknesses, so you know what you're looking for and if it will meet the needs of your team. And your team is going to look different than my team. And what you look for in a new player will depend on what one of your teams needs extra support. You can use basketball as an analogy. A lot of times you have a great team. The starting five is fantastic, the foundation, but then there's no bench and they just can't go the distance. So it's important to make sure your team is well balanced. Now, these players aren't here to produce income today by far. They're here because tomorrow eventually becomes today. Team number 3, the income builder team. This is where our channel focuses from here on down, and you've heard a lot of these quite a bit, but the income builder team's mission is grow tomorrow's retirement paycheck. So I give this one target allocation of about 20 to 30% of my portfolio. The players on this team, we have SCHD, its job, increase retirement income year after year. The strength that SCHD brings to my portfolio team is dividend growth and quality companies. But you need to watch for current income is lower than high yield ETFs. SCHD isn't trying to pay me the most today. It's trying to pay me more every year for the next 20 years. And that brings us to team number 4, the retirement paycheck team. And this is the team that's been introduced just recently as I've begun my transition to build this team because of the time of life I'm in. The time of the game is getting later. We're getting closer to retirement. So the retirement paycheck team has been built and is continuing to get focus. And its mission is to generate meaningful cash flow, eventually replace my employment income. I give this one target allocation about 30 to 40% of my portfolio. Again, I'm not where I need to be. I'm working on that. This is a team in the works. We're making some shifts. We're making some adjustments. We're cutting some from teams. We're adding some to teams. And coming in on this team player, we have Chippy. Its job, generate high monthly income. And it's doing it week by week. It has been growing that weekly income in a tremendous way. Watch some of the videos we have on the channel. Check it out. Just type in Chippy in my channel search bar. You'll come up with a couple videos up there that are really informative of how powerful this team player has been filling its job. Team player number 2 is QQQI. Its job, technology-focused income. Then we have player number 3, SPYI. It has a job as well, broad market monthly income. And then we got a new player to the team, GOOW. What's its job? Blend growth and income. We'll see how he performs. Will he get cut later in the year? We'll see. And then we have another new addition, AMDW. The job this player brings is to add income through a different strategy. If you look at this player, the only ticker that is covered by one single fund. It is not a diversified fund like the others, but it's specializing. He's one of my specialized players I brought on. Then we have on this team, we also have EGGY, EGGY. Its job, simply maximize cash flow. Here's another player, and the last player on this list is IWMI. And what's its job? Provide small cap income diversification. So that's the team. You got your kicking team, you got your offensive team, your defensive team, however you want to look at it. This is my team. This is how I look at my portfolio. I'm hiring different ETFs to fill a job. If I get rid of SCHG, is that because I need to cut some of my foundational team? Or is that because I'm looking to shift some of the allocation into a different team? It's a lot of different things that go into those decisions. And we're going to be making a whole series. We're going to go through the process of how I build my teams, how I make decisions, how I evaluate team members, all those types of things we're going to be going through. But I wanted to introduce you to my entire team. For those who have been wondering, that is the Simply Money team. So again, we have team 1, the foundation team, with the mission of build long-term wealth, create stability, and provide the base everything is built upon. We have team number 2, the future team, the mission, invest in tomorrow's innovations and capture transformational growth. Team number 3, the income builder team. Its mission, grow tomorrow's retirement paycheck through increasing income. And team number 4, the retirement paycheck team. Mission to generate meaningful cash flow and eventually replace employment income. You can see the team members under there and their specialties. And this is the Simply Money retirement team, where every ETF has a job and every job has a purpose. I want you to remember that. And it's balanced by design, diversified, purpose-driven, risk-managed, and retirement-focused. That's what we're going to be building and going over and deep diving into on this channel. If you have questions or thoughts on this, leave me some comments below. I'm really trying to refine the channel for you and the things you're looking for. I've got a lot of feedback on how do I build my team? What am I looking for? And I wanted to clarify that because that's one of the biggest questions I get is how do you pick the best ETF? I don't pick ETFs. I pick team members. I hire them. Looking at this list, you might just see 11 ETFs. I don't. I see a team where every investment has a purpose. So I wanted to show you one of the tools I use because this is important. When we're building a team, we have to understand our team's strengths and weaknesses. And I have 4 major tools I use, and I'll be reviewing those in different videos just to show you the process I use, and hopefully it can help you because I've been working at this for the last couple years on this channel and dialoguing with people. I had done this before, but I'd never really put it into thought and pattern of what I was doing. So I'm trying to synthesize it and make it repeatable for others and help them see, not to pick what I pick, but to see the process, to see the purpose. And as they set their own mission, their own purpose, and understand what their team's goal is, then they can build their individual teams and their entire team together to meet their goals. Because I have a goal and others have different goals, but the process can work very similar. But right here is the Simply Money Portfolio Planner. And what you do with this and what I use it for and how I've done it in the past, just with different ways. I just made this tool to make it easier. I could put all of my different tickers in here, and I don't have mine in here. I just have some of them and some other random ones. And it shows you what the current yield should be and the appreciation based on what they predict and what forecasts show the future 50th percentile would look like. But you could switch that to historical to see how has it performed. What I do is I'll look historically first. I want to see how has it performed. Then I'll look at the future. How do they think it will perform? Then I look at what's it doing? Why do they think it's going to do that? And I start digging in a little bit. But before I just look at numbers, I want to see what has it done? Has it performed? And has it performed according to the team member I'm trying to fill? I have a team. If it's the income focused, I'm not going to be looking at WGTM to fill that team. He's not the player for that team. So I'm going to look, does this player bring in stats that are great for this position, for the part of this team? If I'm looking for a pitcher, I don't care that they batted 400 and hit 50 homers. I may try to find them a place on my other team, but not on the pitching staff. So you have to look at different stats based on your team. So you have to know what it is you're trying to fill so you're picking the right team members there. Then you can just set up your allocations for them here. You could do a conservative, moderate, or aggressive and play with different allocations to kind of cross-reference them. I'm not doing all that today. You see a lot of videos on the channel that have this. Just want to show you how this implements into the team picking process. I'm out there scouting players. I'm looking for someone. I need a new team member possibly. Or maybe I'm looking to replace a team member. So I'm scouting who's the best team member that I can find to fill in on this team. Over here, you can put for the future, maybe I want to test this for the next 5 or 10 years, but I'm also going to be adding, say, $750 a month each month for the next 10 years. Out of those 10 funds on there, what percentage do I want my deposit to go to? So rule number 1. You can set all sorts of rules there. Maybe you're taking some out. You can have a withdrawal rule here and where it's coming from. And then we'll skip the forecast for now, but on the Forecast Pro, it breaks down. So I started with $1,000. I'm doing $750 a month. This is where it's going and how it's growing month over month. I could come down to the year 10 and see, oh, okay, this is how each fund looks. And I'm not just looking at, oh, well, wait a minute, Egg's only $20,000, but Chippy $69. I'm going to put all my money in Chippy. Imagine you were building a football team and you only had 20 quarterbacks. Not going to be a very good team. You need different players to fill different positions. Just because somebody can't kick or somebody can't pass doesn't mean they're not a right player for your team. You have to know what your team needs to be. And I know some people are going to be like, I just care about total return. That's fine. That's a big philosophy and very vague and very narrow. And if you want to be all your eggs in one basket, go for it. That's not my style. I'm just simply sharing my style and how I approach it. You can come over here and you can see the portfolio total. You can see the income generated as a total. You can come over further. You can see the deposits and withdrawals. Then you can see each fund income being generated. Because if I have a growth fund, I'm looking over at the first columns. How did it grow? But if I want a fund that's producing income, I'm going to be looking over here to see how they performed. So I'm comparing different things based on what I'm scouting for. If I'm looking for a pitcher, I'm looking at ERA, I'm looking at control, I'm looking at a lot of things. If I'm looking for batters, I'm looking at different stats for them. Again, I give you different stats to be able to look at to help decide on how you want to build your team. And then again, you can plug your whole team in and see, how's my team looking for the future, how it's built right now. And that's a great way to use this tool. And I'll show you some of the other tools and how they work with my team evaluations. How are they looking to carry me through retirement? How are they looking when I pick, especially my high income players? How do I pick them, and how I choose which ones I think are best for my portfolio? Looking at this list, you might see just 11 ETFs. I don't. I see a team where every investment has a purpose. Some are layering the foundation, some are building the future, some are growing tomorrow's income, and some are already preparing to replace my paycheck. They don't compete with one another, they complement one another. That's how I think about retirement investing. Remember, every ETF has a job, every job has a purpose. We'll see you next time on Simply Money.